Hey, everyone.
Hello!
Hey, everybody. I'm Laura.
I'm Rabina. Welcome to episode 2 of Echoes and Embers podcast. We are featuring the element of water and covering the topic of dreams. We are very excited. This is our second episode together,
Oh, yeah.
and we have a lot to say. But before we get started, we're going to prepare our space together.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get our Palo Santo out and start to prepare our space.
All right. As we light the Palo Santo, we clear the noise, we keep the warmth.
We're here, you're here, and the space is ours.
And what's true can stay.
Rest can go.
Let's begin. All right, so today's topic of discussion, dreams. This is something that we all experience, go through, something that we're all very curious about, something we all have so many questions and curiosities about it. Some believe that dreams are the brain's way of processing emotion, clearing energetic residuants, integrating the events of the day. Others feel they are messages from the divine, access points to other dimensions, or inner portals to past lives and future timelines. So no matter the perspective, one thing remains consistent. Dreams speak in metaphor and they speak with purpose. So very curious about dreams and what they bring, what they say. I know I've had some really interesting ones in my life. One particularly that has really stood out for me in the last few years that I had was April 2023. My mom had just passed away. It was a very unexpected shock for the family and whatnot. But about 5 days after she passed, I had a dream. She and I were big gardeners. We loved to get our hands in the dirt. We had lots of house plants. We had a huge garden in the back. We had just prepared the seeds for the season to go in the ground. They were still seedlings at the time of her passing. But 5 days after she had passed, I had a dream that, I'm walking up to the garden in the back at our family's home where the garden's at, and it's just a bright, beautiful, sunny day. You could feel the warmth on your face, and I'm walking into the garden gate, and to the right of me, I see my mom sitting. She's got her legs crossed in my dream. She's got her staple purse that just hung across her shoulder to her waist. She's got a cigarette in one hand and a grin on the face, and I'm just like, Mom, what are you doing here? What's going on? How you doing? And she's like, I'm watching your cucumber plants. I'm looking over them, taking care of them. Don't you worry, I'm going to take good care of them. And it just kind of felt really warm and beautiful in that dream. Everything was just bright and warm and vibrant. I remember waking up and just like, okay, mom's well and good, Fast forward to the middle of the summer, I had a cucumber plant that literally was producing cucumbers after cucumbers, and I think I picked about 22 cucumbers from that particular plant that she was watching in my dream. It was literally in the place of the ground where she was sitting in my dream and told me in my dream that she was watching over and taking care of my cucumber plant. She knew that cucumbers were one of my favorite things to grow and that I'd always struggled to grow them. There's nothing like a fresh cucumber off the vine, and I'll tell you that summer, we had more cucumbers than we could almost count. I just remember one day picking 22 cucumbers off of this plant that were almost the size of my arm. My niece is helping me carry them to the kitchen. My sister, we're all just like, oh my gosh, we have armloads of cucumbers right now. And, I really truly believe that message in that dream was her just telling me that she's still here with me. She's still providing the love and the tender care, and she's helping it grow through my plants and through the things that we shared together and the love that we shared together. And it's just really cool. I still have houseplants that she started, and it was just a really beautiful reminder in that dream that it was just beautiful. It was a beautiful thing. And it's just a memory almost at this point, the dream. And it's just been integrated into my life since having that dream and losing her. Just a gentle reminder that her presence is with me. She definitely likes to show up in my dreams, just a little reminder or a hug. And every time she shows up in a dream of mine, I run for a hug, or we share a smile or a warm look to each other. Dreams have been a really wonderful thing after losing someone you care about so deeply, and being able to go back and share in present time a moment almost in a different reality. So, I feel like that's just my emotional body just rendering what I'm going through, and just kind of giving me gentle nudges along the way and gentle hugs along the way to just keep going and keep making it through. life and enjoying it along the way. So that was a beautiful dream I was able to experience.
That
But
had,
yeah,
in waking life, real fruits, because
I
you got
know.
to see the proof.
Yeah, I got to see the proof. I got to enjoy the proof. I shared them with family, friends. We had cucumbers well into the fall time, and it's
That's
still
so
amazing. I
cool.
just can still see the vine with all the cucumbers, and my niece just like, oh my gosh, so many cucumbers. Like, it was the only thing that year that did really well too. So that's also really funny. It's like,
Wow.
Mom, couldn't you have looked over all the plants?
Yeah,
Like,
she's like, no, I'm gonna make a point here. It's just this one. I want you to know what I'm doing, right?
Yeah. Well, hey, I accept it. I think it was great, and I really appreciate that. That dream really just gave me a visual to to hold on to, really. And that's the cool thing about dreams is like you get a picture, you get an image, you get a story, and you're able to just like really just go through it and just integrate it and see where the meaning and the light was behind it. And that was just a really beautiful message from my mother saying, hey, I am with you, I'm growing with you still, my love is here with you. And it's a cool, really cool thing to have experienced, especially after a sudden loss like that. So definitely something I'll think about for the rest of my life and appreciate, and will make me think that she's with me in the garden still. So I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I had a dream. I've had a lot of dreams recently.
Yeah,
I
you've been
touched.
working on your dreamscape a lot recently and really diving in
Yeah,
on that second
yeah.
life almost, you know?
It is. It's a
So
second life. It's another way of exploring everything, and it's so unique because it's not anything that you can watch on TV. It's not like a book you can read. It's
yeah.
not, something to consume. It's like you. It's a reflection of your own life and your things, and it's always so interesting, and it feels so rich to be like tapped into, and I've really only been able to tap into it as consistently really than any other point in my life, like right now. Because so I touched on in the last episode that I stopped smoking weed, right? So now I'm on 4 weeks. It's 4 weeks deep. All of these 4 weeks, like almost right off the bat when I stopped smoking, I've been able to kind of tap into the dreams, and when I wake up, like I always know that I'm dreaming, even before when they were more suppressed, but I could never remember them. And now when I'm waking up, I can go throughout my day and recall the whole dream almost, like from start to finish of when I couldn't, remember what it was. There's storylines, there's emotions, there's details that I can like just plug in and write about and journal, and break down a lot of what I'm processing in waking life, because I have a lot of things happening in my waking life. Good, hard, the whole bevy of buffet of life. So one of them that, I thought about with your story with your mom visiting you in your dream, I had a moment one day where, my grandma, she passed away. This was like August of 2023. It was difficult. It was like a very strange grieving process for me. We were very close and estranged in other ways, and time, but there was a moment where I had called out to her like in waking life, and then I let it go. But I told her, I said, "Oh, if you're gonna visit me in a dream, and don't scare me, please. Don't scare me. I don't want nightmares. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would. Please be gentle,
Yeah.
because this is also when I was just starting to get into the dreamscape and kind of exploring it and realizing that I could recall a lot more than I had in the past. So a few days pass and I have this dream, and I am in this Italian bakery, and the street right outside is kind of busy. There's people walking by. But I'm alone. Like I'm alone, but I'm not alone. I'm working with somebody else, but I can't see who they are. And I'm in there and I'm toiling. Like I popped out to the street. I took a look around. Okay. The bakery is also kind of like a restaurant front. So there's people sitting on the tables outside whenever I go back inside, and there's a bunch of stuff in the kitchen. It's like a bakery racks, sheet pans. So you see the sink, you see the workstation, and to the left there's a hallway into another room. I don't ever go in that room. I know there's a lot of activity in there. I know that there's people in there that I know and I love, but I don't see anybody, which I think is a symbol in itself. And then I go over to the workstation and I'm making strombolis. So what is a stromboli? Stromboli is basically a pepperoni bread. One of the things that my grandma would make all the time and would teach me how to make, and something that we really enjoyed as a family, was pepperoni bread. So there's 2 loaves. I've got one sitting there and it's perfect. It looks gorgeous. And then the one that I have, but it's like, it's just sitting there, like ready to go. And I have mine, and as I'm moving my hands like this to try and form it, it's getting big. It's like squishing. It's like doing all these form things. And I finally get it to like a good shape and size, and I'm like, all right, cool. I go over to the sink and I'm gonna go wash my hands, and I'm taking in the whole environment. It's like got this sunlit glow to it. It feels almost like Tuscan. So my grandma was Italian, and so it has this like hue of like sunlight and herbs and orangey kind of stones for the countertops. And I go over to the sink and I'm washing my hands and I'm looking out the window of the sink and I look down. And you know how like in Italy they always depict like, people kind of hanging off the balcony and watching people walking down the alleys, and that's kind of the vibe, and you got like laundry hanging.
Yeah. Yeah, I got that
like, yeah, it's kind of like that. So I'm like looking over the thing, and then I'm at the sink, and my grandma was always at the sink. She was always washing dishes, wiping down the counter. That was like what
that's
she
a traditional grandma image right there.
Yeah, she's like, that's really what it was. She was always in the kitchen, and I would make meatballs with her, pick her parsley. I would do all kinds of stuff, and that was really where we bonded. So when I look down as I'm washing my hands, there's this ball of light coming out of the sink, and I stopped in the dream, and I'm like, what is that? Like, what is that? And it's just sitting and it's glowing. And then I realize in the dream, I'm like, I see what's happening here. Like, okay. And then I woke up. So when I woke up, I had this dream. In the dream, I realized what was happening. I wake up and I'm like, what was that? Like, the fog kind of happened. I go and I do my morning rituals, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was her gentle way of saying hello. That was her gentle way of coming.
That was her warmth and her hello and supporting you and just,
and
good
saying
morning.
Hi. Like, and being there in the way that I
exactly how you asked. Yeah, exactly how you asked.
Yeah, I said, please be gentle. Do not scare me. And everything about that dream was like comforting and familiar.
Yeah.
And, when I think about like each piece of it, right? Like, there was the pepperoni bread that was already there. And like you had mentioned before, because I had shared this with Laura before, it's like, yeah, that was her piece that has already been formed. It's there, and it's there to be a guide for how yours should look, but it gives you freedom to form and be like however it ends up being. Like, this is your life, right? Like, I feel like in that, because our dreams speak in metaphors, it's there's that kind of message coming through that room full of people that I know.
You just moved into a new space and getting your space, attuned to you, and I feel like you were kind of having a hard time getting acclimated to your new routine and your new life that you had created, and I feel like that dream came to you at the perfect time of just like showing you that it is okay to shape it how you want and to just, do it in a gentle, loving way. And then also she was showing you support at the same time and just kind of giving you a keep going, girl, you're doing great kind of high five almost,
I was, yeah.
Especially with that ball of light. That just sounds so beautiful and just like warm, and like I can almost see that coming into your own house and just her like kind of like sharing that in your space and like, I don't know, just kind of creating, your confirmation of like you're doing the right thing for yourself, you're going in the right direction for yourself.
Yeah.
And
very affirming. Like, it was so affirming. Very comforting. And you're right. Yeah. Like, moving into this new space, I haven't had somewhere to kind of unfurl in a very long time because I've focused on other things in my life. So I've shared a lot of spaces prior to this, and this is completely my own. So it was almost kind of like difficult to assimilate and be like, okay, well, every time I try
what am I doing here?
Yeah, what am I doing? Every time I try to get this mess cleaned up, this becomes a disaster. This doesn't really feel like home yet, but now I'm at a place where everything feels way more comfortable. And I really do think that dream came at that specific moment, like you were saying, like, keep going, keep working on it. It's going to take shape. You're going to get it. It's going to taste good. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, really,
But
that was all the symbolism in that dream. And then I feel like after you had that dream, you've really kind of been able to come into your space more and like just kind of accepting it and, doing
and
it
I've
or
had a lot
creating
of
it your way.
Yeah, I've had a lot of like maternal energy in here. My mom has been a huge part of why this even feels like home. Like all of my furniture in here, mama, like she's gonna be like moving around a lot of stuff in her house. She's got stuff has always wanted to gift me. So I've got, brand new couches. I feel comfortable. There's a sense of like comfort and home that I feel really grateful coming from my mom and my grandma for these very different reasons. But
No, it's
I
cool.
think
It's coming in and it's just to support your emotional balance and, your flow into this new life that you're setting up for yourself. And
yeah,
it's cool. It's cool to see all the pieces come together and to create the like foundation. And it's kind of,
yes.
you're fitting into it now and it's, you're
It's
settling
good,
in and
yeah, and
yeah.
it seems slowly but surely, but no, it's actually pretty fast because it's only been a few months, and I'm fully furnished and feel like fully in a routine now. So
Yeah.
it's fantastic. I'm really grateful for it, and I really think it is contributing to why I'm able to dream so freely too, because I am comfortable in my space in my waking life. I feel like I have a sanctuary to like fully relax in. I don't have a mess around my bed or whatever.
Yeah, and it's all your stuff and all your energy, and it's just your sacred space that you're able to really kind of expand and become more vulnerable in your dream state, even. Because I feel like our waking body and our subconscious body, like, they go together, and when
Yeah,
one's off balance, like, it affects the other. And once you're
yeah.
able to get both those bodies in balance with each other, you're really able to step into your dream world and play around with it more.
And even like thinking about how we associate water with cleansing, right? Like
Yes.
water is purifying, it is cleansing, it is flowing, it like renews, it nourishes, and I feel like I'm constantly cleaning this place. This place is it's a lot of work to keep your home clean, Like a
Yeah.
few days goes by after my full work week, it's like, okay, I got to refresh the house. I'm doing
Oh,
laundry,
yeah.
I'm mopping the floors throughout the week, it's a lot. I'm watering the plants, I'm this and that. That's, your surroundings really speaks to the state of your mind. Like,
Yeah, for
the
sure.
state of your
I'm the
space is
same
the state
way.
of your mind. Yeah.
I have to keep, like, I like my bed made in the morning. I like my
Yeah.
space tidied up. It's still a little, like, pieced together here and there, but, like, I got to keep the flow of my space because it also helps, like, the flow of myself. And
Yeah.
I like to keep it clean and tidy and just, in balance so that I can balance. Like, it's really, I think it's
And what
a
I
big
found
part
too,
of being able to succeed.
is when there is certain messes, like I have to be forgiving and like understanding of like, okay, well, you have to also think about the reality of your life. You're always on the go. You fit on a lot of stuff in like a short amount of time. And before it used to drive me crazy if everything wasn't like in order.
Oh, yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I'm like, I got this mess to handle. That was what my goal was. Yeah, everything else is a little messy, but I'm gonna get to it. So I think it's cool because that reflects how you deal with all the things on your plate in your mind. Like you can only handle one thing at a time, and the dreamscape really helps you handle things in larger quantities without exhausting you as you're awake. Because when you're awake, you think and you feel, and then you actually exert those emotions. Like yesterday, I had an emotional day and it can exhaust you. I think the only reason why I was able to get through it was because of the support system that I had. My friends kind of carrying me through the shocking moments I had in the morning. And then, my friends carrying me at night when I'm just like bawling my eyes out. And
Yeah,
then
when
I'm
the
like,
exhaustion
okay.
sets in.
Yeah. And I mean, that's me like in waking life dealing with all this stuff. And then I'm like, okay, well, let me finish this iced Americano and, get to my laundry because it still needs to get done. And then I'm in the dream and then it just condenses everything. Like I had, a dream last night where normally this is also interesting that I found over the last 4 weeks, I've seen my waking life people in my dreams. Like I even said this a couple weeks ago to somebody. I said, normally I'll know that like the people are there, but they like, or say it was you, Laura, you were in my dream. You're represented by a different person. Like I know it's you, but you look completely different. like you don't look like yourself. That's normally what would happen in my dreams before, but now I'm dreaming and I can see you. I can see Ashley. I can see all of these people that reflect their true selves. And I think
sounds like there's something you've been cleaning up and like being able to clarify more. And I know, didn't you say you've been doing a little bit more of like a ritual nighttime routine for yourself so that you can have those clear dreams?
So like my tea, right? Like my tea has been my lean on as I've, stopped smoking, because it's the relaxing part of the night. I'm like, okay, I need to do something that activates this chapter in my day where I'm going to wind down and go to sleep. So I don't watch TV before I go to sleep anymore. I used to like watch anime to like fall asleep because I'm like, oh, whatever. No, I don't. I make my tea. I kind of like turn on all the lights. I usually have candles lit like in, the bathroom and in my bedroom as I'm like getting changed. I'll take like a cleansing shower in the dark in the candlelight, because it's just the stimulation is a lot for me. And I know some people are different, but
stimulation is a real thing, and being able to unwind yourself at night and calm yourself down because you just spent at least 8+ hours either working, learning, whatever it be, as you said, taking things in. And like, I think that candlelight and the dark, and then the water element, and utilizing it as like a flush or a cleanse, like really just kind of brings you down back into yourself and just kind of like, refreshes you for really the nighttime and just your relaxation space.
And it's cozy. I love a bonfire. I love a campfire, and a candle is kind of that for me in like a very small form. So I love candles lit. It's comforting to me.
It's gentle on the eyes.
It's gentle. It's the flicker. It's like, it's relaxing. And this is something that I've kind of scrolled back or rolled back on in the daytime too, is like, I don't listen to as much music. I've just been very overstimulated lately. And so like, I'm kind of doing all of this in silence, right? Like, I'll light candles. I got my kettle going. I've got the tea like steeping. Now I'm doing some oil pulling, and that's really soothing. And I'll just kind of like get into bed, and I'll drink my tea. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes I chug it. I'll wait till it's like totally, drinkable, and then I'll slam it back and then just lay down. So I'm like, okay, punch me, like put me to bed, because I'll do two of these nighty night teas from, I think it's Traditional Medicinals, and I do 2 tea bags, and I can feel it kind of waft over my chest, and I'll kind of tell myself, I'll literally say in my brain, all right, we're going to go to sleep. And I kind of sink right into it. There's a ritual that I have kind of gone off and on, which I want to touch on, especially later in this episode. But, kind of speaking to your tea or your drink when you wake up or go to sleep, because I'll do this when I'm having usually a rough day or a really good day. It's one of the
water is alive, and it's able to receive what you're putting into it. So when you're speaking your vibration in specific intentional words, it will receive that, and then as you're like consuming it, it will just bring that vibration down into you.
Yeah, so it's like you speak an intention into something, you're taking it in. It's like, I've done that with plants. I'll speak it to the water, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna make you super healthy and happy.
Makes you happy.
And so like, we're a plant, kind of.
Like, we're also, what are we, like 80% water? So if you think about like your intention with the water, you're speaking into that water, you're drinking that water in your body, the water within your body, the 80% of you that is like a liquid form is like receiving that even more, because you're putting in a similar like substance into you that is you, and just it goes smoothly.
It flows together.
It flows
like,
together.
Oh, this is what we're doing? Okay, gotcha. Right, we're gonna have a good day? Alright, cool. And then, you go into dream, and your whole intention with it is, okay, this water is going to heal me throughout my night. It's going to nourish my, resets with my organs. It's going to help me remember my dreams.
You can really set the intention however you see fit. If you are somebody who really doesn't care to play with dreams, you can, like she just said, use it as a healing tool. Like, as I rest tonight, just, thank you for the rest.
This rejuvenates my cells.
And Yeah.
This
As you can
helps
see,
me
we don't
wake
have a
up with ease in
script
the
in front of
morning.
us.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I know this.
Yeah, and
But
like it can be
you
anything you want.
speak life into it however you
Even
see
if you
fit.
want
If
to help,
it's,
like, erase something of your day. Like, say you feel
yeah.
funky, right? And you're just like, this tea or this water is gonna help me just rid as I sleep. Like, it will go away. You know, I don't know.
Yeah, it'll help me work through this. It'll help me flush this out so that tomorrow I don't wake up with that heaviness of the day before. Like, it's a really great tool to utilize in the morning when you're waking up, and a tool at night when you're going to sleep. Like, just a little 8-ounce cup of water fresh in the morning, and you're speaking in vitality and just like you're speaking life into it, and you're drinking that to start your day. That vital energy is going to come in and carry you through the day. And then as the night comes and you're just speaking rest and healing and rejuvenation into the water, like that is going to help with that for you in the evening as you're sleeping and resting and, regaining for the next day. So it's a really cool thing. Water is super cool. Like it's important. It's vital. It knows the way. It's just,
it knows the way, and it takes so many different forms. Like, you got steam, you've got the liquid, you've got ice, you've got like vapors. It takes on the form of whatever container it's in. It holds whatever toxins or benefits in it. Like, it can be healing or it can be poisonous. Like, it's
so versatile.
It's really whatever it's been infused with. And I think that's why dreams can take on such a different meaning depending on what you're going through in your waking life and what it's showing you. And this was something that was interesting too as we were preparing for this episode, is remembering that water was the original mirror. It was the original reflection that people saw themselves in, when they would go to the river and they would go to drink their water or bathe. That's how they would see themselves. And now we have mirrors all around us. We've got cameras. We've got this. We've got that. I think it's just really primal and potent to remember that that was the original reflection point. And then for it to be really associated with memory and the dream state is important. And I think that these decisions that I've made for myself and not smoking and how it's just had a very large impact on me, and that's why I keep bringing it up, but it's clarified so much for myself to reflect on my day-to-day life and where I'm at, because you always think that you're further behind than you really are. And like I said in the last episode, I'm right on time. We're not
right
late.
On time.
We're not showing up late to any event. We're here for the life of us. And so, you feel like, oh, I should have done this sooner. I should have done no, like in my dreams, it's really showing me this arc of progression from where I have been, where I am now, and how I can really tackle like my waking life. It's giving me more confidence, because initially when like this was a dream that I had 3-4 weeks ago, I was going through an emotionally turbulent time that was more represented by like these small dogs that were in my dream, kind of like representing this sense of loyalty, sense of home, and this feeling that I was wrestling with. So that was more of a personal thing, but it's kind of developed into where I am an observer of my environment, how things impact me on an external level, and that I am more of a keeper of my subconscious now rather than somebody that's tossed around in it or just kind of like in the muck of what a dream is. I navigate the dreams very differently than I ever have. And water actually shows up a lot in my dreams. There was a few of them where it was raining, and raining, flowing water is really kind of representative of transition and emotional release and like messages moving through us. So for that speaks to everything that we've been talking about. In the past, I've dreamt more of a vast ocean. When water would show up in my dream before, it's more of this huge ocean plain where I'm kind of above it and I'm seeing it down into it, and I can see like the waves that are on it, but I'm not immersed in it. I'm viewing it, which I think kind of shows in the past how I've been detached from feeling emotion. And something in my personal life now is being able to express emotions without it consuming me or overwhelming the people that are around me. And, that's kind of something that I've been experiencing the last couple years.
Showing you your strength and like where you've been and where you're going and where you're at, and just the transformation, that you've come through.
Yeah.
And
it's been really an empowering ride the last month of
I know
seeing all this stuff.
you've been really excited to like play more in your dreamscape and just like
And that's why I've gotten so into it, you know?
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
It's yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna, as we're like kind of wrapping up a little bit, just some things, the guidelines. What are some things that you kind of started doing every night again? Like you keep a journal now by the side of your bed, something that when you're, wake up fresh in the morning, it's always, if you're trying to recall your dreams more, something you can do is just keep that dream journal next to you. Even if it's a word, just a little thought, a little sentence, you can kind of jot that down.
I would say too is like, so yes, I keep the journal next to my bed.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I do when I wake up that I know, because in the past I would be like, oh, I need to remember it. If you start to panic and be like, I have to remember all these details, it evaporates. It just disappears.
Even if you get one word out, and then throughout the day you think about that one word, or you reflect back, maybe even a week later, like I feel like sometimes pieces of that dream will just always keep coming back, like, and it'll flourish more than even in that moment of when you woke up and trying to hurry up and remember everything and get it written down.
I feel like the way that I'm able to retain it too is I'll wake up and I'll hook onto one piece. I'll just be like, that's interesting, with like a sense of curiosity. And I won't be like, okay, well, but what happened next? Like, you don't ever force it. It's like you hang on it and you say, all right, well, how did it lead to that? And then your curiosity kind of takes you through the whole thing. That's how I end up remembering a lot of details from my dream. And then as it's happening, I don't really say much when I wake up. I'll just start, writing it or typing it in my journal. And kind of like, just don't disturb the bubble that you just woke up into. Keep it
Wake
quiet.
Up slowly.
Wake up slowly. Yeah, exactly. I don't even turn on the light in the restroom when I'm like going in there to like, moment. I'm just sitting and I'm quiet. So much so that my dog doesn't even get up and follow me. Just kind of like
even he knows.
Slow. Yeah, he knows. Just like she's trying to remember her dreams. I can't disturb her. Yeah.
That's funny.
And I go and make tea right away. And I think kind of ritualizing something, whether it's tea or it's your shake or your coffee or your water, you staring out the window and taking in the sunlight, whatever it is that you just do something consistently, you start to routinely be able to pull these things out easier, which I think is helping me a lot with remembering these. Because I'm starting the night that way, and then I wake up and I'm starting the day with that. So it kind of bookends the opportunity of the dream to happen.
Yeah.
What else? So aside from ritual, we talked about setting an intention. We've got a journal by our bed. We wake up really slowly.
Recalling in layers, kind of like how you have written down a few words or a sentence or this and that, like allowing those layers to just kind of come to you naturally without forcing yourself into it. And then say you wake up in the moment of a dream and you're like, wow, that's good. I really want to get back in there. Like just kind of like gently closing your eyes and like letting yourself re-enter into that state, kind of slowly while you're still in bed, closing your eyes, try to re-enter. Just kind of like
that comes from like that hook of curiosity. That's how I kind of slip back into it.
Yeah. And, ask your subconscious to show you more, and often it will. So, and something really too to think about at the end of the night, like as you kind of touched on, limiting those late night stimulations, like overuse of your cell phone, overuse of music or TV, just really gently trying to end your night, at least the last like 30 minutes of your evening, like just kind of really getting yourself with an intention, ready to set in, got your water or your tea, whatever fits best for you, and just like really using your intention in the evening to, hey, I'm trying to play in the dream realm tonight. Like, really,
it's really playing.
Yeah, it really is. It's like a second life that you get to play with, and you can really handle it however you want. Like your intention seriously matters with everything and anything you do in life. But if you're really wanting to play around in the dream world and step in a little bit deeper and recall a little deeper, start setting that intention for yourself. Start taking those steps where you're just, not overstimulating yourself at night. Like, get your bed comfortable, make the mood right, like set a little fan on if you like the flow of the fan. I'm an air person at night. I have to have some movement going or else I cannot rest well.
Yeah.
So, set your space up. Filter. Yeah. Set your space up to whatever's going to get you into that maximum relaxation state.
And I know it can be difficult for some people because they actually use TV to fall asleep. That's like a
Yeah.
common thing.
Try
Something that,
shifting it up with like some nature sounds or some like
boom.
rainfall or something like that. Like something a little different. Like even if you put like I think YouTube even has videos where it's got the lo-fi videos where you can kind of just like dim the screen on your computer. Or what I've done in the past is I've thrown like a blanket over the TV because the light I get very overstimulated with light very easily. So and I like a lot of those lo-fi, especially at night, because I know there's no like hidden weird, sounds in there. I've had some meditation videos that I've played overnight that just jolt me awake because there's some weird shit going on in there. But those lo-fis are pretty nice. Like I like them
Yeah.
for studying. I like them for background noise.
Yeah. And they have nice images that are like relaxing on your eyes.
For
Like,
sure.
it looks like there's rain or you're in a dark room with plants and it's
Yeah, it
soothing.
just got like a nice, like relaxing vibe to it. So something like that to kind of set your evening up and then kind of put it on a timer. Put it on a timer for it to turn off on itself so you don't have to like hop up, find the remote, where is the remote, lost in the bed, whatever. Like set yourself
Yeah.
up. Like if you're trying to get into this dream world and play around a little bit more, like it is infinite, like what you can discover through your dream state. As we touched on, there can be potential of healing, discovery, adventure, just working
Adventure.
through
And
things.
I
So
think
many adventurous dreams recently for me. I just recently had a dream where my sister and I are literally riding in a drop down top Jeep, and she's sitting here, I'm driving. We're in the jungle, and it's like one of those journey adventure type scenes. You got the big like tropical leaves, you hear the monkeys over here, this and that. And I just remember like riding around like, wow, this is super duper cool. And I remember turning to her like, yeah, we're having fun. Like it was just like it was so playful and adventurous. And like sometimes you need that when you're in the day-to-day grind and life and hustle and flow. Like it is fun to hop into a dream and just have a light moment, have some joy, have something exciting kind of go on, something that might be hard for you to experience in the real world. It's like, especially me, like trying to hop in a Jeep in the jungle. Like I don't see that happening anytime soon, but
Yeah.
I sure did get to dream it. So like it just created a feeling of satisfaction for me, almost like something that might have been on the bucket list, like that I got to experience. Like I don't know, and it feels real to me. Your dreams
Yeah.
are real, and they're real to you. They're a really fun way to play around with, a second, people that don't want to go to sleep and waste 8 hours of their night. Like, this is a great way to utilize your time still, and there's some cool things that come through in the dream state, especially when you're intentionally, like, setting up your space. I'm going to get more into that. I know I've been very much just kind of going with the flow, and I've got a nice cool relaxing space at night, but I'm just like whatever comes. My dreams can be all over the place sometimes.
Yeah, they can be. And like you said, experiencing light, fun, happy moments to kind of escape you from the day to day. And I know when people start diving into this, to just be real, that you might have some nightmares. And we didn't really touch on that in this episode too much, but I had yeah. So I mean, I think nightmares are important too. They don't happen often with me, but they happen and they're pretty potent and they're scary sometimes because
serious.
like you're really experiencing something and your adrenaline and your cortisol is actually pumping in your body.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes your brain can't tell what's real and what's not, and you jolt awake and you're like, and it's not good imagery. Like I had a very violent dream that, when I dug into the symbolism, it helped me understand something else in my waking life, but it wasn't fun. It was not fun.
Yeah, they never are.
And they're so scary. It makes you scared of your own environment. When I woke up, I have Clover here, and I'm like, it's dark, and I had a really sweet moment before I went to sleep. That like kind of that's something that I also think is before you go to sleep when we're ritualizing these intentions for the night, right? When is also reflecting on a gratitude of love and sweetness during your day is a source of protection. Because when I woke up from that dream and I had like just remembered, somebody telling me, you're very precious to me. I care about you so much. Those two sentences I hung on as I'm like in the fog of like waking up, still half asleep. I can still see the image of this terrible violent dream like seared into the back of my eyelids. And I'm like, okay, everything's fine. This is, I'm precious to somebody. Somebody cares.
That wasn't real. That wasn't
real. It's okay. Like, and relaxing yourself and focusing on breathing. And it took me like 5 minutes, like a full 5 minutes to relax and then kind of be awake enough where I wasn't going to re-enter the dream, and intentionally before I went to sleep, I said, I don't want to think about that anymore. I want to move on. And then I had other dreams after that. So
I've done that a lot of times with nightmares, and I've woken up abruptly. And honestly, I keep a really large piece of black tourmaline next to my bed in my windowsill. And sometimes like the dream will be so intense that I will just grab that, I'll put it in my chest, and I'm like, okay, we're not going back there now. Thank you.
Yeah, we're good.
And that's just another form of protection that I kind of like. I'm a big crystal mineral nerd, so black tourmaline is really good at reflecting negativity, not absorbing it, but reflecting it out. So I like to keep that by my nightstand when I'm sleeping. And then also amethyst. It is very psychically protective. I keep a large piece of that next to my bed as well. And those are my two staple pieces that I always have around, especially when I'm sleeping. Amethyst is great for children who have nightmares. If you have a child that has trouble sleeping or they have really terrible nightmares, or you yourself, amethyst is a really safe, beautiful stone. The vibration of amethyst, it's just very protective. It's very protective on your psychic status up here. Very great for anyone, anywhere having a nightmare. I can't recommend amethyst enough. I've had clients come to me and they are like, what stone does this? What does this? And I'm like, amethyst all the way, for a lot of reasons. Amethyst all the way for a lot of reasons, but highly, highly recommend if you are somebody susceptible to nightmares all the time, amethyst needs to go in your pillow. In your pillowcase.
Put it in your pillow, baby. Put it in your pillow. I like spoken words, and I'm right there with her on, crystals and minerals. I'm a big nerd on that too. It's kind of where we connect on a lot of
on one of many things.
On just one of many things. But really saying it out loud, using your voice and not just thinking.
For sure.
Okay, thinking it, you have to say it. It's like
your frequency breaks it up. Like your discernment. Sorry to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say your frequency and your discernment, and like you had said before, like now I'm ready to move on. Let's pass on from this. So
Ruby,
I think
eventually too, when you're speaking out loud to yourself and into your teas, your waters, whatever, over time you'll find your own voice comforting.
For sure.
So I had to say it out loud as I was waking up, and it soothes me. But
Ruby and I are going to post our tips on our Instagram and TikTok this week so that you guys are going to be able to have a visualization for these tips that we're sharing and being able to practice your dream state and your dream recall. And then we also invite you in to share some stories with us. We have our email, echoesandemberspodcast@gmail.com. We would love to hear from some of you, or from everybody. We really want to invite the community more in on our podcast and get to know you all a little bit more. So we invite you in to share with us. DM us on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it be, whatever you like to use. We want to interact more, so we really invite you in, and thank you for sharing this space with us today. We've really been enjoying ourselves doing this. This is something that we love talking to each other and want to talk more with you. So we really invite you all in to share this space more with us, and I have a lot of gratitude, Ruby. Thank you for sharing time with me today on our topic of water and dreams. I think, what is it next week we're talking about?
Yeah, next week we're going to be focusing on the element of air and covering the topic of intuition versus thought. So this kind of ties both of our, previous episodes together. And we're just moving along the elemental structure. So very exciting things.
So hang out with us, guys. Let's tune in and keep flowing together, okay?
Keep flowing. Let's just close out this space with some gratitude and a little bit of Palo Santo.
Okay.
I'm very excited for next week. I'm excited for hearing about your rituals with your dreams, how it comes along, and where we'll be at in another 4 weeks with these practices.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Thank you, everybody, for sharing your time and space with us. We invite you to stay tuned and check us out next week, okay? Bye, everybody.
Bye.
It smells so good.
So good.